Hi, everyone, and welcome to our webinar on the current status of the Golden Visa Law, the key insights you must know. We're going to give it just a few seconds for everyone to join before we get started. All right, well, hello and welcome to our highly anticipated webinar on the current status of the Golden Visa program. Judging by the number of attendees that we have, this is obviously a topic that's very top of mind for many of you, which is not surprising given all the changes that are being currently discussed. So we very much appreciate that you're joining us today. It is our goal to give you the key insights that you must know to help you make the best and right decisions for yourself to secure your Golden Visa. Just by way of introduction, my name is Tim Beal. I'm the CEO of Solstice Investment Management, and I will be your host for today's session. We're fortunate to have a very esteemed panel of experts joining us to provide valuable insights and guidance on this important topic. So let me introduce the speakers to you. First, we are honored to have Tomas Assis Teixeira. Tomas is a partner in CCA Law Firm's real estate department and also leads the firm's Golden Visa practice. Based in Lisbon, Tomas has helped hundreds of investors secure their Golden Visa successfully. Next, joining us from Dubai, we have Alan Honein. Alan is the CEO and co-founder of Earth Hotels, one of the world's most innovative hospitality brands that is disrupting the industry. We're very proud to have Alan and his team as our partners in our most recent project, Hotel Porto. And finally, I'm also delighted to introduce Zoe Chen from our team at Solstice. Zoe is our Vice President of Fundraising and Investor Relations, and she's dialing in from Lisbon today. Zoe is going to manage all questions that you have throughout the call. Let me do a quick preview of the agenda for today before we get started. First, Tomas is going to give us the latest updates on the status of the proposed changes to the Golden Visa Law, as well as an outlook for what to expect next. Then Tomas will talk us through what this all means for you and your aspirations to secure a Golden Visa, including the key strategies to consider so you set yourself up for success. After that, Alan and I will share our latest exciting Golden Visa project with you, Earth Hotel Porto, including our streamlined investment process to help you get into the Golden Visa program before it stops accepting new applicants. Our goal is to cover all these topics in about 30 to maybe 35 minutes, so we have plenty of time at the end to also address all the questions that you undoubtedly will have. Speaking of which, we encourage you to actively participate by submitting your questions and comments via the Q&A button at the bottom of the screen or the chat function, whichever you prefer. And we will address as many of your questions as possible towards the end of the webinar. So now, with further ado, let me hand it over to Tomas as he takes us through the latest updates and outlook for navigating the changes in the Golden Visa program. Tomas, over to you.
Thank you so much, Tim, for the kind words, and hello everyone. I can see that we have participants from all around the globe, and it's a pleasure to be here speaking with you and addressing these issues that for some of you may be stressful, but I wanted to most importantly to pass on what I feel is a positive message and a message that means that there is still time to complete your objective of having the Golden Visa. But before getting there, I would like to, as a lawyer, and first and foremost, I am a lawyer, I would like to give you my perspective on what's going on as we speak in terms of the legislative process that is ongoing in the Portuguese Parliament. And in that sense, I will not be too defensive on the opinions that I provide. I will give you my opinion as a legal expert, but it's an opinion and only an opinion. I cannot ensure or guarantee that what I will say will be what the members of parliament will do in terms of timings and in terms of contents of the law. But I believe that some of the opinions that I will share with you will be hopefully accurate. In terms of what's going on, as you all may know, the government presented on the 16th of February PowerPoint in which they put forward a termination of the Golden Visa program. Since then, there have been a lot of developments. The first bill was presented was a bill that was utterly unconstitutional. It's important to say that the bill that we are addressing here is not a bill that focuses only on Golden Visa. It's a very extensive bill that focuses on the entire habitational sector in Portugal, being this the main problem that the government wants to tackle. But the government ended up including the end of the Golden Visa within this very broad law or project of law that is currently being discussed on the Portuguese Parliament. And speaking of this particular point, and I will not, I will not go into much detail on constitutional law and how laws are approved in Portugal. But right now, the law is undergoing an internal discussion in the Economy, Public Works and Habitation Commission of the Parliament. This means, what does this mean in practical terms? The government has put forward a bill that is not yet complete, that still has many flaws, that still has many mistakes, that still has many things to be discussed and agreed between all parties that are part of the Portuguese Parliament. And the work that is being done in this commission is to fine-tune the wording of the law to make it according to other laws that are applicable in Portugal, namely the Constitution and in several other diplomas, and also to include the several propositions that were done by all the members of other economic sectors that have suggested several things, among which are the maintenance of the Golden Visa program or the introduction of changes to the Golden Visa program. Right now, where do we stand? The law, the final wording of the law is to be presented around or towards the end of June. This is when we will be able to see what is the final law that will be voted. We don't have that law yet. We don't have insights on what the law or where the law is, but we know that the intention of the parliament, which is something that sometimes does not happen, but the intention of the parliament is to have a final bill to be presented for approval towards the end of June. Having that final bill approved, then what will follow is the voting of that bill. Again, these are all informations that we got from several channels that we have, none of them being official, but what we were told through multiple sectors and other players in the market, such as lawyers, is that the final draft of the law should be voted towards the middle of July. The date that we were given was the 19th of July. We don't know if this is right or wrong. This is what we have, and I'm sharing this with you in all openness I can have. Let's assume then that the law is voted on the 19th of July in Parliament and that the law is approved, okay? There are three options that may happen with the approval of the law. The first one being that, before we go there, once a law is approved by Parliament, the law needs to be vetted and reapproved by the President of the Republic, which means that an approval of a law in Portugal is a two-step process. And then we have, if the law is approved in Parliament, we have three possibilities. The law is sent to the President, and the first possibility is the president approves the law. If the president approves the law, then the law will enter into force according with the time frames that are defined in that in that law that we do not know yet. So this is option A. Option B is the president rejects the law. The president says that the law, it does not agree with the law, and he sends the law back to Parliament to be discussed. If this happens, considering the timeframes that we have, considering that we are very close to the summer holidays of the Parliament, this would make the law being dragged towards September for a new discussion and then dragged along until for it to be presented again to the president, taking out the parts that the president said he wouldn't agree with. And then we have a third possibility, which is the president says or identifies within the law some items that are not considered to be constitutional. And our constitution is the main law that governs the Portuguese legal framework. And if that happens, the law will be sent to the Constitutional Court to be discussed, analyzed, and the articles that the president considers to be unconstitutional will be vetted by the Constitutional Court. If that happens, we will also have a window opening for more time for the golden visas to be presented. What I wanted to understand is what I wanted to clearly tell you is, regardless of the decision that is made and the time frame that the law enters into force, there is still time to file for your golden visa. And as a lawyer, obviously we can work with hypothetical scenarios, and all the ones I gave you are hypothetical, but we need always to work towards the worst case scenario. And the worst case scenario would be that this law would be approved by mid-July or towards the end of July, which would mean that it would be really important to work fast. Meaning, the Portuguese Golden Visa program has been so successful until now for several reasons. Portugal is a great country, everything that everyone knows about Portugal, but mostly because it is more competitive than others. It gives and provides the international investor more flexibility than other programs. You only need to spend 7 days a year or 14 days every 2 years to get the visa and to open your path towards citizenship. So this means that if you want to take advantage of this opportunity, it is essential that you move quickly. And then you ask me, do we have enough time within a month to complete an investment and to gather all the documents that we need to gather in our home countries? I would say yes. And for that reason, or I would give you an example. The last change the law suffered was in the end of 2021, when there was a change on the investment modalities and thresholds that could be done. So towards the end of 2021, there was a race to the golden visa, mostly in the end of November and December. And in that month of December, which is typically a very slow month because of the holiday season, we have Christmas, we have a lot of holidays here in Portugal, we were able to file, not only ourselves that work in the immigration sector, we were able to file all of the golden visas for our clients in time. Why? Because we get the documents wherever they were very quickly, and we were successful in filing all of those golden visas. So if I can leave an idea to you, is that we live uncertain times, and that causes stress. I understand that causes stress. We are speaking about a very high investment, but we need to try and make sure that we have everything ready to push the button if we are effectively going to invest, if we have time to do that, if we have all the documents ready, or pull the plug if we do not have time to do that. What I think it would be a bad thing or a frustrating decision would be that no decision was made, no documents were gathered, and then we understood that we had time to do that. That would be the worst case scenario in my view. So my advice to all of you is decide on your investments, make your decision quickly. Obviously, contact your lawyers, have them give you the assurance that you need, but at the same time, deal with all the formalities, all the things that you cannot control, which are FBI background checks for the US people, criminal records for all of those that are not US people, all the documents that depend on public entities that we need to rely on the third party to proceed need to be handled so that we can file for the golden visa as soon as the investment is decided and is done. So this would be more or less my opinion here. A final point I would touch would be a lot of my clients come to me and ask, what type of investment should I do? How quick can I do the investment? In my opinion, there is that you need to try and do an investment that obviously gives you comfort, gives you assurances, but also an investment that has been tested, that does not require a huge due diligence, that does not require a huge negotiation procedure with the seller, an investment that will allow you to have or do it quickly, do it safely, and allow you to file for the golden visa within the short time frames that we have. And in a nutshell, this would be what I have to tell you. I'm obviously fully available to answer all of your questions. I can imagine that you may have many. On to Tim again.
Yeah, thank you, Tomas, and especially appreciate your giving us your unfiltered opinion and duly noted, obviously, that they're your opinion, but you're very close to what is happening, and so far you've always been right. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
As Tomas mentioned, I'm sure all of you have a lot of additional questions for Tomas. Again, I know that there are already questions starting to filter into the Q&A tool. Please continue submitting your questions so that we can get to them at the end of the webinar. We now want to take the opportunity to introduce to you to our latest exciting project, which is Hotel Porto. It's truly a unique golden visa project with highly attractive investment features, which is located right in the very heart of Portugal's second largest city. Most importantly, we still have some investment slots available to enable you to qualify for your golden visa. Before we share more details, I'd like to give you a little bit of background on Solstice Investment Management, since some of you may not be familiar with us yet. We are a global real estate investment and development company, and we're headquartered in the United States with offices in Portugal. Our mission is to help investors like yourselves achieve their goals by opening up new pathways for a more prosperous, secure, and mobile future. We have a proven track record in our team in hospitality and real estate development with a unique focus on residency by investment programs like the Golden Visa program that we're discussing today. Our leadership has overseen more than 40 different residency by investment projects globally, and we've been actively involved in Portugal since 2017 through both the real estate and the fund options. One thing that is important to myself and really all of us on the team is that we pride ourselves in how we interact with our investors. We don't see you just as investors, we truly see you as partners and treat you that way. One way that we do that is how we prioritize to help you achieve your objectives. We know that it's your primary goal to invest with us in order to qualify for the Golden Visa and ultimately permanent residency or citizenship, whichever option you will choose in the end. That is why we've made investing with us as easy, straightforward, and transparent as possible. Our investments are all structured in a way that they're entirely passive, meaning that you do not have to do anything throughout the ownership period. We manage everything for you. So basically you invest, you qualify for your Golden Visa, and you enjoy all the great benefits that will come with the Golden Visa without having to be concerned about typically what you otherwise have to deal with as an owner of a real estate project. And that is until you get your money back from us. So with that context, let me walk you through our latest project, Hotel Porto. As an investor in Earth Hotel Porto, you not only qualify for the Golden Visa, but you will also benefit from highly attractive investment features. The investment amount is 350,000 euros, which is the lowest investment threshold for any real estate project that is located in Portugal's primary and really most desirable and arguably safest markets, such as Porto. You will receive 4% return annually, starting with the first year of operation, which is projected to be 2025. And in addition, you can stay 7 days for free at the property, which basically lets you fulfill the minimum stay requirement on the Golden Visa law, as Tomas has just mentioned before. You will also enjoy access to other inclusive benefits across Earth Hotel's global portfolio of hotels. The investment does come with a buyback, meaning that after 7 years, you will receive back your entire initial investment of 350,000 euros. We intentionally set it at 7 years, since that will allow you enough time for you to fulfill or complete the Golden Visa investment period and also apply for your permanent residency or citizenship. Again, this investment is structured to make it as effortless as possible for you to achieve your primary objective, which is qualifying for the Golden Visa. And it shifts all the ownership burden to us. Once you have invested, you will not have to deal with anything related to your investment. All of it, including the construction and then the operation of the hotel, will all be handled by us and our team. It's also set up to be completely self-sufficient, meaning that all the ownership costs will be covered through the revenue that the property generates. So you don't have to fund any additional costs beyond your initial investment. We're looking for a total of 50 investments and already have most of the slots filled. So before we get into the investment process, Alan and I are excited to share some more details about the project itself with you. The project, as I mentioned before, is located in Porto and in the actual historic center of the city. Porto is Portugal's second largest city and one of its key economic engines. In the past, Porto has just burst onto the world tourism stage as the must-visit destination. It has experienced unprecedented growth in visitation from all across the world and is projected to break its all-time visitation record this year in 2023. Last year, Porto won the highly coveted World Tourism Award as the world's leading city destination. So if you're not familiar with what the World Tourism Award is, it's basically analogous to the Oscars for media and entertainment. So it's the most prestigious award in the tourism industry. However, there is one thing that Porto lacks, which are hotel rooms. The city is in dire need of additional hotel accommodations, particularly in its core, in its historic center, to be able to accommodate and address all the additional demand that is flowing into the city. And Earth Hotel Porto will address some of that demand. The product itself is at an unrivaled location within the very heart of the city, and within short walking distance from all the major tourist destinations and points of interest. The property itself is extremely unique. It's a former convent, and as such, the historic property is filled with gorgeous architectural details, including some of the iconic Portuguese art tile work, which I'm sure many of you are familiar with. It has very intricate work, for example, in the doors and window frames, and also has some impressive archworks throughout the property, just to name a few things. As part of the rehabilitation work, we will carefully remove and refurbish all those details to bring them back to their original beauty. And we will reincorporate them into the hotel. What you see on your screen on the left side is the property in its current state. On the right, you have the rendering of how the property will look upon completion. The rehabilitation process will bring the building back to its true rich history and unparalleled beauty, while featuring state-of-the-art facilities and amenities through and through. So how is the property going to look like at the end when we're finished? On its ground floor, Earth Hotel Porto will feature a destination restaurant and bar, a music lounge, a sun-filled outdoor cafe, a courtyard that we are converting into an urban garden. In addition, there will be adaptive event space, which we're very excited about, that it's going to transform throughout the day to different uses. For example, in the morning, we'll be able to feature yoga lessons there. During the day, it will convert into co-working or a pop-up market. And in the evening and at night, we might host TED Talks or local musicians. Hotel guests will enter the hotel through the Sticky Lounge, which is Earth Hotel's innovative signature lobby concept. And Alan is going to tell you a little bit more about that. On floors 2 through 5, you will have 49 well-appointed guest rooms and suites. And one thing we were very fortunate enough is that the property is getting natural light from all 4 sides, which I think you can see from the rendering that's on your screen. On its top floor, Earth Hotel Porto will have a panoramic rooftop. The space of that lounge sits right above the roof lines of the surrounding buildings, and it offers unparalleled 360-degree views of the city. So I hope you can see the enormous potential that the property has. To unlock its potential, there will be no better brand and operate as Earth Hotels. Given their unique focus on sustainability, innovative use of technology, being community-driven, and creating experience-driven stays for their guests, Earth Hotels team will bring the property to its fullest potential. I want to now invite Alan to share more on Earth Hotels and how they will elevate this project to its fullest potential. Alan?
Thank you, Tim. Thanks for that. And, we're excited to be part of this amazing and unique project in Porto with Solstice. The location in specific is really special to us as a brand. It resonates well with the values of Earth Hotels. And to give you a bit of a background, Earth Hotels is an impact-focused, tech-forward, experiential hotel brand. And being impact-focused or sustainable really starts off by the way we develop and the way we operate. So when it comes to development, you're looking at 2 modes of development. One is a rehabilitation approach, which is basically what we're doing here in Porto, taking over a historic asset with a lot of character, a lot of history, and being able to preserve that while really at the same time incorporating a lot of the Earth DNA and brand touch points. And our second approach to development is the modular approach, which reduces vibrations to the earth, avoids hard construction and deep excavations, as we're doing in a few projects here in Dubai, in the UAE, and Saudi. And this approach also reduces time and cost of construction. Our hotel is a plastic-free and paperless environment, with the exception of toilet paper. We haven't found a solution to that yet, but it's a completely paperless and plastic-free environment. No plastic key cards. You'll have access to your rooms through the use of your smartphone by scanning either a QR code or NFC technology, or we'd even have bamboo wristbands that will give you access to the room and make purchases throughout the hotel. Also in line with being impact focused, we've developed a sustainability tracker called the EcoBeat. The EcoBeat is basically a carbon footprint calculator that is installed across all the rooms and the common areas of the hotel. And it allows the guests to measure their carbon footprint, how much water they're using, how much electricity, air quality in the rooms. And what's nice about it is it's interactive, and we can send push notifications on how well the guests are doing and offering rewards based on their performance. Part of being tech forward also, apart from the EcoBeat technology, we've also developed a unique booking and guest journey dashboard, which doesn't just allow you to book your room and your bed and your breakfast, but really it customizes your whole stay and experience in the hotel, but also in the city. It's an open API, and it integrates with the local businesses and the community, and it allows you to book your gym, your concert tickets, yoga classes, as Tim mentioned, restaurant reservations, and even your own co-working station in the hotel. Another tech component that we're looking to integrate is AI, whereby we'd introduce a virtual assistant that would provide personalized recommendations to the guests based on previous bookings or preferences. It's still under development, but we're hoping to have something ready by opening. Being an experiential brand, our philosophy is really building properties that are integrated with the local community through art, culture, cuisine, music, what have you. And our hotel lobby, and then we like to call it the sticky lobby, which is basically where everyone likes to stick around and hang out. That is the heartbeat and the soul of the hotel. It's a versatile space, it's adaptable. And what we do is we program and curate the space around different events throughout the year, not just for the hotel guests, but really for the local community as well. So the hotel lobby consists of, co-working spaces that are bookable through the app, music rooms. We'll host panel discussions, TED Talks. We'll have pop-up art exhibitions. We'll do a lot of collaborations with the local foodies, as well as working with down the street from the hotel. There's the Mercado do Balao, which is one of the most iconic fresh produce markets there. And it's been, the city jewel for over a century. And our slogan at the end of the day is a place to wake up, and that's whether it's physically, mentally, spiritually. Traditionally, when you think of hotels, it's a place where you go to sleep. But in our case, it's really, we're a high octane brand with a very vibrant atmosphere. We're excited to be part of this project in Porto, and it really offers a lot of opportunities to push the envelope when it comes to community building, arts, and overall creativity.
Thank you, Alan. And one thing I realized that you were not able to see my screen before. So let me just so you can also helps you visualize exactly what we're talking about. Let me just show you those now. So here you should be able to see it now. You can see on the left-hand side, you can see the project, the property as it is right now, and then on the right you can see the rehabilitated project. And again, we're being very mindful to our impact on the environment, but also how we carefully repurpose some of these beautiful existing architectural features of the properties to bring it back to its original beauty. Here you can see one of the renderings for the guest rooms. Again, we're very fortunate that the way that the property is situated, that we get light from all four sides, lots of natural light. And here you have a rendering which is actually fairly accurate in terms of, you can see how lucky we are that with this particular property that our highest floor sits above the roof line of all the surrounding buildings. So you get just a truly spectacular view of the entire city from its rooftop. So one thing that I mentioned before also is how easy it is to invest, which is very important given what Tomas had mentioned at the onset of the discussion regarding some of the lingering uncertainty as to when the changes to the new gold visa law will become effective and the uncertainties surrounding that. Our investment process is extremely fast and efficient. It's basically a three-step process that you can see outlined here. The first step is that you sign our reservation agreement to secure your spot. At that point, we will share all the legal package, which it's a comprehensive legal package. But the reason for that is, as Tomas had mentioned, is that it's a fully thought through investment there that requires limited due diligence from your legal part, because or in negotiation, because all the different facets of the investments have been thought through. Nonetheless, of course, you will need to make sure that you fully understand all the different components of the investment structure, and your legal advisor will be able to assist you with that. And then the last step, the third step, is simply making the transfer. And at that point, you complete the investment, you will receive the necessary documentation from us that you need to submit with the immigration authorities to also show that you have a qualifying investment that then lets you qualify for the Golden Visa program. In addition to an easy investment process, we also look to assist you in any other way necessary to help you with not only from an investment perspective, but also from a Golden Visa application perspective. For those of you that don't yet have legal representation, we do have a very competitively priced legal package available that assists you from day one all the way through the eventual application to permanent residency and or citizenship. As well as we have several solutions to the bank account opening, which, as Tomas has mentioned, is a lengthy process. So for some of you who are concerned about that, we have different options available that are completely acceptable from a golden visa application perspective. So be more than happy to share those with you. So feel free to reach out to us after this call. So before we start the Q&A session, I'm gonna also put up our contact details here on the screen. We'll share them again at the very end of the webinar. Please feel free to reach out to either Alan on anything related to Earth Hotels and the brand. Tomas has graciously offered to also address any legal questions that you have. You have his contact information on that too, and certainly for anything related to the project or anything related to the golden visa application process or us as a team, please feel free to reach out to either Zoe or myself. You have the contact information on your screen. So with that, let's move over. I know that we've already received a number of questions. Zoe is going to walk us through and moderate the Q&A session. Again, please continue asking questions. We're here to address anything that is important to you. For any questions that we're unable to get to for the rest of this webcast, we'll reach out to you individually to make sure that we get everything answered. With that, Zoe, please take it away.
Thank you very much, Tim. I was told that I have 30 minutes in my Q&A session. Now I have 20 minutes, but all the participants, don't worry. I will try my best to have all the questions answered live from today's session. Great. So I've been collecting all your questions backstage, and I have a very long list in front of me. I'm going to start with the first question here. Tomas, I think the first question is for you. So one participant asked, at what stage of the application process is the applicant considered safe in the program that will not be affected by the change of the law? Tomas.
So the program has several stages. We consider, and we have that the online submission of the application, which is the first step of the application after investing, is when you are in the program according to the laws that are applicable on that day. So should the laws change after that day, those changes will not be applicable to you.
Understood. Can I understand is when you submit online and you're in, then you can feel safe in the program. It's not when you came to do the biometric.
No,
right?
it's the online submission of the visa that implies the official presentation of the visa in the actual payment of the analysis fee of the visa. So you can consider to be safe when the online submission is made, not after.
Thank you very much, Tomas. Moving on to the second question, this one is also for you, Tomas. Everyone is really curious about the golden visa law. So this participant asked, could you please give us a quick recap of the dates that you mentioned in the first part of your speech? I think some people came in late.
Okay, so basically, so the draft law is currently in the commission to be being discussed, being amended, being fine-tuned. We should have, again, we don't know if we will, we hope we won't, but we should have a final wording of the draft law by the end of June. And what was said was that the law would be put to a vote around mid-July, towards the third week of July. the date that we got, I mean, it's zero binding, but the date that we got was the 19th of July, although there is nothing on the agenda of the parliament that indicates that way, but these were the dates that we received. So in a nutshell, we would have a month and some days to complete the process. On the worst case, obviously there are more days because the law, when voted and approved, is not approved on the next day. But we would have until the end of July, conservatively, to have this done and filed.
Thank you, Tomas. Moving on to the next question. This one, Tim, I think you can answer this one. The question goes, when the project is starting construction?
Sure. Yeah, and it's a very important question, a very good question. And I think I do want to point out that one of the advantages that we have is, so this project is fully baked. What I mean by that is that we already have the construction permit, the building permit in place, and it is shovel ready. We are getting ready to break ground towards later this summer. So right around the third quarter of this year. And then I think also related to that question, when will we be finished? We're still working towards having the project finished at the end of 2024. But most likely it will be open at the very beginning of 2025.
Perfect. Thank you, Tim. Next one is also for you, related to the hotel. The question is, how many spots for the investment and how many rooms are in the hotel?
So there are 49 rooms and suites in the hotel. And what was the other part of the question, Zoe?
How many investors are you looking for?
Yeah, so at this point, we're looking, we have more than half of the investment slots spoken for, and we're looking to fill the remainder. Thank
you, Tim. Next question is regarding Golden Visa. So Tomas, is for you. One participant asked, where should we submit our biological data fingerprints? Is it only in Portugal, or will there be other places such as Macau?
Well, right now there is an obligation to come to Portugal, to one of the delegations of CEF, and do your biometrical data collection there. However, there have been talks that the consulates in Portugal, and Portugal has a lot of consulates throughout the world, that the consulates could start doing the collection of the biometrics, as they did actually in the beginning of the Golden Visa program back in 2012. So right now, to answer your question, you will have to come to Portugal to do them, but in the future, probably that may change.
Thank you for the answer, Tomas. And all the participants, just a heads up, I can see all your questions. I see a lot of questions coming in. Thank you so much. Whenever I choose a question, that will make your question visible. So I'm keeping track of all the questions. So a little patient. Thank you very much. Next question, Tomas, is for you again. It's about the renewal. What is the renewal status of the current Golden Visa card holders?
Well, we are facing a situation with CEF that has caused some delays on the renewals. So what's happening now is that the renewals are automatic. So they are being processed automatically, and the fact that they are being processed automatically is bringing some delays to the process because of the amount of renewals. Speaking on behalf of my clients, we are seeing that things are picking up again and that the renewal stages are getting back to normality. Bear in mind that CEF, the immigration office in Portugal, took a long time to recover from the beat they got with the pandemics and with the backlog of people that they got in the pandemics. So yeah, there have been some delays in the renewals, but things are getting back on track. Obviously, each case is one case, but yeah, we are seeing that in our office with our clients.
Thank you, Tomas. Next question is regarding the investment. Tim, if you could answer, that would be great. The question goes, what is the ROI? Do you have any other options besides this one?
Great. Yeah, thank you for that. So, yeah, you'll receive 4% throughout your entire investment period, starting with the date that the property opens up. The way that we structure our investments is so that they're, I talked about how they're fully self-sufficient from an operational and project perspective, but also the way that we structure our return is it's in a way that at the end of your investment period, it covers all your costs related to the golden visa, meaning that obviously there are costs, there are quite a few costs, also government fees, for example, legal fees that you have to pay, etc. At the end of this project, it's structured in a way that the 4% will cover all of those costs, plus you also end up with the slide plus, so that if we do our job right, you will have essentially gotten your golden visa for free, so to speak, in the sense that you did not have to come out of pocket for anything, but actually end up with a slide plus. Related to the question on, do we have other projects? We were in active discussions on several other projects, but we have put those on pause because obviously the changes that were announced by the government. We're still very hopeful that ultimately that there's going to be a change to the golden visa law that might actually allow us to continue offering great solutions to you. But for now, this is the only option that we have. And the reason also why we are focused on the 350,000 euro option, I think that was probably also one of the questions that I saw being asked. We are focusing on 350,000 euros because we are focused on offering products that we believe are the safest to our investors and are the best setup, so we can ensure that we keep up with all the promises that we're making to you. And the projects that are in 350,000 euro range are the ones that are in the best markets. In Lisbon, in Porto, they're the safest ones, and that's why we are focused on those.
Very well. Thank you, Tim, for answering that. The next question is regarding to the investment. Tim, it's for you as well. What happens to my investment in case the government ends the program before I am approved, Tim?
So I think there's two things I would want to say to that. So as Tomas mentioned, it's the important piece that you have, the important deadline that you have to get through in order to be safe is to submit your initial application, and that's the online application, not you don't have to be approved, but as long as you submit your online application, you're grandfathered into the program. So that's one thing. The safety valve that we are providing to our investors is that if you invest with us and there is a change in the golden visa law before you're able to submit your initial application, before you get to that hurdle that you need to overcome to be grandfathered in, you will get your investment back. So that's also a commitment that we're making to you to make sure that even we know that there's some risk investing with us and that there might be a change. To the extent that there's a change before you submit your application, you will get your money back.
Very good. Thanks, Tim. The next question is for, let me see there. Sorry, there are a pile of questions. Thank you so much again for participants, your interest. We will try to answer as many of them live as possible. Otherwise, we will connect with you offline to have all your concerns and questions answered. I have a very good question regarding investment. What are the risks investors need to consider for this investment? It's a good question. Tim, could you answer this question, please?
Sure. I think with and this is not unique to this, but I think with generally speaking with real estate investments, of course, I think you need to think about how how the project is generating its cash flow, because that's important in terms of making sure that you get your returns that we're promising to you. So I think it's always key to look at how does the project generate its profits, and how confident am I as an investor that it will achieve those hurdles. So that's one thing. From our perspective, I think there's a couple of different ways how we're mitigating that. One is we're having a unique location that gives us a clear competitive advantage in terms of being able to attract demand to the hotel, but also, as Alan has mentioned, the diversity of revenue streams, not only from the rooms, but we have the restaurant, the music lounge, the urban garden, the rooftop, etc., the flexible event space, the co-working, where there's a multitude of revenue streams that will generate cash flows for the properties, so we are able to pay your fee. The other thing I would also think about is in terms of the value. I think with any real estate, it's important to really make sure that you're comfortable in terms of what you're investing with, that it's valued in the right way, because if it's too aggressive, then it becomes very risky for you ultimately at the end of the day to get your money back. What we have done, and if you want to see it, please reach out to us individually, separately from this call. We don't just want you to take our word, but we've also gotten a valuation from a highly renowned international hotel consulting firm that independently looked at the property and produced a valuation, so that you can also see how that compares to what you're investing in the project.
Thank you very much, Tim. The next question is for Tomas. How do I know the project qualifies for the Golden Visa? Is there an official document that confirms the project is approved to be Golden Visa qualified project?
Well, typically what happens is your lawyer, before you do the investment, he prepares a due diligence report on the investment, and he confirms that the investment is Golden Visa eligible. That's how we do it here. So there are several items and matters that need to be analyzed to make sure that a project is Golden Visa eligible. In this particular case, the project needs to be, because it's included in the city of Porto, it needs to be a touristic project, which is the case of this project. It needs to be a renovation or a refurbishment project, which is the case of this project. And it needs to comply with the minimum investment threshold of 350K, which is the case of this project. And it needs to be included in an ARU area, which is called an area of urban refurbishment, that are specific areas within the city of Porto, which is also the case of this project. So in terms of a Golden Visa eligibility, this project ticks all the boxes, yes. But in any other project, the exercise that needs to be done is the same, to see if the project meets the requirements, and then is done through a due diligence made by your lawyer.
Thank you very much, Tomas. And Alan, I have a question for you. This is regarding the Earth hotels. The question is, you mentioned the sustainability. Can you provide some examples of how you will do around the sustainability?
I mean, there's some technology that we're looking at now is atmospheric water generators, which take really humidity from the air and convert it into drinking water. That's one element. Obviously, the plastic-free element, so no plastic bottles, no plastics, a plastic-free environment. So everything is done. Reusable water bottles, recycled water bottles, a completely paperless experience. Everything is digitized. Organic waste energy generators. So a lot of components, and in certain locations on the roof around the other side of the roof, there's a possibility to incorporate also solar panels. So wherever we're able to adopt that and apply certain sustainable measures, we're looking into that. But so yeah, I think everything that I've mentioned is pretty much in line with being environmentally thoughtful. And I think, especially from the mode of build that we're doing, which is no vibrations to the earth, it's really a rehabilitation to an existing historic structure.
Thank you, Alan. Next question is, can I visit the site? Tim, this question is for you.
Yeah, I mean, not only can you visit the site, we highly encourage you to go see it. I think that's obviously unfortunately it's not easy for many of you, or probably most of you don't have the ability to do that very easily, particularly on a shortened time frame, but absolutely you can visit the site. Also, what we've offered in the past, and we might do it again, we've done virtual tours where one of our team members is on site and you can follow them through on your computer screen as they walk you through live through the site. You can at least see it in real time on your screen, but certainly, absolutely, if you're interested to ever come see the site, walk through the site and see everything, highly encourage that, and we can always arrange that. Thank you, Tim. I also see several questions about the buyback option. One is asking, how do you ensure the buyback 7 years later? This is a question a lot of people are asking now. Maybe Tim, you could elaborate a bit more on this topic, please. Sure, absolutely. So, I mean, which I'm not surprised. Obviously it's a key piece of the investment offering, and it's important. So the way that we ensure the buyback is a couple different ways. One is that after the 4%, we are capturing any additional profits that the property is generating in excess of the 4%, and we're reserving those so that they are available after year 7 to buy year out. The other piece of it is also that the property is owned free and clear. So any remaining balance that we need to fund through other means, not through the reserve, will be done through our access to the capital markets. We'll be able to get financing to fund the remainder. To the extent which we're not projecting, but to the extent that we need additional funds to buy back all the other any remaining investors that have not received their buyback at that point. We also have either through our own equity in the company as well as through our line of credit that we have access to, we will be able to fund you that way as well. One thing I forgot to mention, which I think is very important, it's also unique about how we do this, is unlike most, if not all other projects, we don't fund the entire project through Golden Visa investors. We remain invested in the project, meaning that we have quote-unquote skin in the game. So we will have our own capital invested alongside yours throughout your investment period. The reason why we do that is because it assures that that there's complete alignment between us and you, and also to show you not only our confidence, but also that we're willing to put in our own funds as a vote of confidence. Thanks. Thank you so much, Tim. And all the participants, all the panelists, thank you so much. My portion time is limited, is using up now. So I'm going to say thank you again to everyone who's submitting the questions. I still have a long list here. Off the call, we will make sure all of your questions get answered. And Tim is going to share our contact information towards the end of the session. So feel free to talk to us, email us. But now, Tim, Tomas, Alan, thank you for your answers, and I give the stage back to you, Tim. Yeah, thank you, Zoe. So we'll get back. Obviously, there's a lot of questions that we unfortunately haven't gotten to yet. We will get back to all of you with answers to those questions, so make sure that they're getting fully addressed. So with that, before we end, I want to first thank Alan and Tomas for giving us their time and sharing their valuable insights. And equally importantly, I also would like to express my sincere gratitude for all of you to join us today. I think your active engagement and certainly the thought-provoking questions that you've put forth show your interest. We will share all of our contact information with you so you know how to get in touch with us. We strongly encourage you to ask us as many questions as you would like about the program, the project, as well as any other facets that are important to you. Also, I encourage you to follow us and connect with us on our social media channels, which I'm sharing on your screen. That way, you'll always get also the latest updates on the Golden Visa program and any changes to the law. We regularly post those updates through all of our channels there, as well as important updates regarding our projects. So feel free to certainly make use of those. So once again, I would like to personally thank you for participating today. Really appreciate you giving us your time. And I and all of us, we very much look forward to continuing our engagement with you and assisting you on your journey towards your Golden Visa. Thank you again and have a wonderful day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
everyone.